Most beginner SEO freelancers make the same costly mistake that I made. They jump straight into a website without knowing what's actually broken first. And this destroys credibility fast. Now, my first client paid me $3,000 a month in SEO. I was so excited to prove myself that I rushed in and started fixing his SEO. I ended up getting his entire website de-indexed by Google. And yeah, he fired me immediately, as well he should have. But here's what I wish someone had told me all the way back then. The freelancers who keep clients for years versus weeks aren't necessarily any better at SEO. They just do 5 simple checks before they touch anything. Now, I've been running a 7-figure SEO agency for over 10 years now, and I can tell you these 5 steps take a couple of hours, but they'll save you months of wasted work and angry clients. If you skip even one of these, you're basically gambling with your reputation. Now, the good news, once you know what to look for, you're never going to walk into another client situation blind. You'll know exactly what's broken, exactly how to fix it, and exactly why your approach is going to work. So here's what most freelancers don't realize. The difference between keeping clients and losing them isn't just your SEO skills. It's what you do before you ever touch their website. I'm going to show you the exact 5-step process that takes a couple of hours but prevents months of wasted work. And at the very end, I'm going to show you an actual proposal that I sent to a prospect that landed a $5,000 monthly contract, plus a ChatGPT prompt that will let you rewrite that proposal based on whatever issues you find on your prospect's website. But here's why this matters to you personally. I know what it feels like to take on a client and have no idea if you're solving the right problem. That constant anxiety of wondering, am I actually helping them or am I just making things worse? These 5 steps eliminate that fear completely. Instead of hoping that your SEO work pays off, you'll know that it will because you've diagnosed their real problems first. So here's the first thing I always check, and it might surprise you. Most freelancers think they can understand their client's Google business profile just by looking at it. But there's a back-end check that reveals problems you can't see from the outside. So step 1 is all about their Google business profile. Most freelancers, especially new in this space, are going to look at the Google business profile, see that it's verified, and think, looks good to me. This is a big mistake. Now, you're going to need back-end access to see what's really broken. And when I audit local businesses, what we find is often, frankly, shocking. Here's a real example that will really surprise you. We had a plumber in Plano, Texas, and he was convinced his GBP was perfect. We show up when people search for us, he kept saying. But when I got into the back end, I found that he only had his primary category selected. Google lets you choose up to 10 categories. This guy had chosen just one, plumber. For services, he listed 3. He could have had 100. He was basically invisible for 90% of the searches that his customers were making. Okay, so here's what we need to do, and it's way simpler than it sounds. First, you'll need to get back-end access to the Google business profile, very easy to do, and you're going to need to check every single section. Categories, services, business description, hours, photos, posts. If you want suggestions for additional categories and services, GMB Everywhere is free, and it gives you solid recommendation. But I also have a ChatGPT prompt that'll expand that list even further. You can grab it in my school community. There's a link in the description. But here's the thing that'll save you from wasting months of work. A perfect GBP means absolutely nothing if it's not ranking anywhere. And that's where a lot of people new in SEO get their first reality check. Our first step was looking at the Google business profile, making sure it's filled out well. Now, the second thing we're going to do is run a local rank map. This is where your client might get slapped with reality. Your client right now, before you run this, probably thinks that they're doing pretty well. We show up when people search for us by name. Yeah, I mean, every business shows up when someone searches for their exact name. Ranking for a branded search is possibly the easiest thing ever. But here's what actually matters. Will they show up when potential customers search for their services? Remember that plumber in Plano I mentioned? He was absolutely convinced that he was ranking great. Kept telling me, I see us on Google all the time. So then I ran a rank map for water heater replacement Plano, and I showed him the results. Look at all these red diamonds. His average rank was 17, basically invisible to customers. He had a few scattered spots in positions 8, 9, 10, but here's what most people don't know. Position 4 in local search is the first loser. Nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, 2 people might click to see more businesses, but very, very few. And get this, look at the center of Plano. Positions 12, 13, 14, that's his own backyard. He's not even close to the top 3. This guy was missing almost every potential customer in his service area and had absolutely no idea how bad it was. So running that rank map, we used a tool called Local Dominator. You can plug in the primary category plus city, hit scan, and boom, you see exactly where they're strong and where they're completely invisible. And now you know where you stand, but you still don't know why they're failing. And that's where the real detective work has to start. So here's the problem that's killing most local businesses, and their SEO agencies have no clue it even exists. A lot of SEO agencies look at a website and think, yeah, this is fine. There's a homepage, there's a services page, but honestly, that's like looking at a house and making sure it has a front door and deciding it's fine as long as it does. What they're missing is massive gaps in content. And I'm talking about gaps that are costing them thousands in lost revenue every single month. So let me show you what I found with that same Plano plumber. His website looked decent. Nice design, contact info, basic plumbing content. But when I dug deeper, here's the disaster that was uncovered. As I mentioned, he had plumber as his primary category, but no dedicated pages for drain cleaning, emergency plumbing, or any of his other services. Google had no idea he actually offered all of these different services. They weren't on his GBP either. And even worse, he was trying to rank for water heater replacement Plano, but he had maybe 200 words of content about water heaters buried somewhere on a generic services page. Does this sound familiar? Meanwhile, his competitors had entire pages with 1,500 words specifically talking about water heater replacement. How could he possibly compete with that level of topical relevance? No wonder he wasn't getting any calls for this service. Here's how you find these gaps without spending hours manually checking everything and looking at the website. Now, you're going to need to get a free tool. It's called Screaming Frog. Love the name. I said it's a free tool. It's free for up to 500 pages. That'll cover most local websites perfectly, so you won't have to worry about it. Now, the AI tools, ChatGPT or Claude, they're going to tell you they can crawl websites on their own, but they really struggle with accurate data. If you don't give them proper crawl data, they'll give you an analysis based on heuristics, which is a fancy way to say they'll make it up completely. Now, I have a content gap analysis prompt for you that's going to do all of the heavy lifting. It'll tell you exactly what pages are missing, which ones are too thin, and what needs to be fixed first. Well, let me show you that prompt. Here we are in the school community. Let me scroll down and grab that prompt. It's this. We give it this 2 Screaming Frog files. We give it the GBP categories, GBP services, and then prompt actually asks the AI to analyze the website to make sure that it has the correct structure and internal linking that it should have for the Google business profile given those categories and services. This is the full prompt. Feel free to screen grab and use it yourself, or you can join my school community and you can grab it there. Now, honestly, finding what's broken is maybe half of the battle because not all broken websites are even worth fixing. So the next step is going to separate clients who pay you $500 from clients who pay you $5,000. Because here's what people in SEO often don't understand. Some websites are so broken that no amount of content or links will save them. And if you don't catch this up front, you're going to spend months spinning your wheels wondering why nothing is working. So let me tell you about a nightmare that almost destroyed another agency's reputation. It was a personal injury lawyer in Long Island, and they were paying another SEO agency $5,000 a month for years. Zero results. Nothing. The other agency just kept building links and kept writing content, but the client's rankings weren't moving. So when I looked at the site, the problem was obvious. This website had over 800 pages indexed, but over 2,000 pages that they're trying to get indexed. And when I dug deeper, I found over 1,500 pages with fewer than 500 words. Google was drowning in their junk content and couldn't figure out what the site was actually about. The other agency, they never even checked. They just kept throwing good money after bad on a website that was sabotaging itself. So here's how you avoid becoming that agency. Again, Screaming Frog. Run Screaming Frog for the technical crawl and use Page Optimizer Pro to check if their content is even close to what Google expects. If they're trying to rank for personal injury lawyer Long Island, but their content optimization score from Page Optimizer is 12 out of 100, they have a content problem, not a link building problem. Let me show you the Screaming Frog analysis prompt that I use to identify these killer issues almost immediately. All right, we're back in my school community and it's the Screaming Frog analysis prompt, and here is the analysis analysis for Screaming Frog. We're just going to grab the internal all file, give it to the AI agent, and then run this prompt. What we're going to get is an executive summary and detailed findings listing everything the AI found and things that should be focused on to improve the website positioning and its content. As before, grab this prompt or head on over to my school community and grab it. Okay, so now you have all this data, but that data doesn't mean anything if you can't turn it into a plan that improves your rank, that makes you money. And this is where so many agencies blow it. They do the audit, they find the problems, and then they pitch SEO like everyone else. This final step is to turn everything you just uncovered into a clear strategic roadmap before you even try to sell. This is where you stop sounding like every other desperate SEO provider and start commanding real money by coming across as a real expert. Most are just going to walk into sales calls and say something like, "We'll do SEO for your business," or "We'll help you rank higher on Google." Vague, generic. Sounds like the other 50 emails I received yesterday. Nothing interesting, nothing to separate them from other agencies. But when you've done these steps, you walk in with something completely different. You're not selling hope anymore. You're selling specific solutions to problems the business owner didn't even know they had. So here's what that sounds like. I found 3 specific issues that are keeping you invisible on Google. First, you're missing 7 service pages that your competitors all have. Second, your GBP is only using 1 category when you should be using 4 or 5. And third, you have 47 pages with duplicate title tags that are confusing Google about what your site is actually written about. Do you see the difference there? You go from being this vague hope peddler to an expert who isn't begging for work. You're a consultant. You've already diagnosed their problems. Now, we just landed a plastic surgeon in Houston using this exact approach. $5,000 monthly contract. And here's how I positioned it. I showed her the specific gaps in her content for procedures like rhinoplasty and breast augmentation, plus the technical issues that were killing local rankings. And at this point, the proposal isn't just a service SEO proposal anymore. It's a business growth plan with a clear ROI and direction. Now I'm going to show you that exact proposal. It's available. You can grab it at my school community, a ChatGPT prompt that's going to rewrite that proposal based on the issues that you found in your analysis. So here's the prompt to rewrite the proposal. We should have a pretty good idea of their website. We've run the Screaming Frog analysis. We've run the content gap analysis. So we can give the AI those files again with the website URL. This has it rewrite it, keeping the same format. And the actual proposal, let me open it for you. This has been scrubbed so that the actual plastic surgeon can't be recognized, but here's the proposal that we sent over. It essentially goes through what the overall goal is. We always start with a 3-month period, a 90-day first plan that's contractually obligated up front, and after that we switch into a month-by-month ongoing SEO work. So we just detail what their issues are that we saw, or what the scope of work is, and we're going to focus on one key issue in the second page here, and that's basically the proposal. This can be rewritten with that analysis with this prompt. And feel free to come into the school community and grab it here. It won't be a draft by the time this YouTube video goes live. Okay, now knowing what to check is really only half of the battle here. So you can have the perfect assessment, find every problem, create the most detailed roadmap, and still lose clients if you don't execute the fixes in the right order, in the right way. Because here's what I learned after that $3,000 disaster. Doing the right work in the wrong sequence can make things worse. I had another client where I followed this exact 5-step process, found all their issues, and then ranked them from position 17 to the top 3 in just 14 days. Same assessment process, same types of problems, but the difference wasn't what I found. It was how I prioritized and executed the right fixes. You can have the perfect GBP, you can fix every technical issue, you can create all the missing content and still fail if you don't know which order to do things in. Some fixes amplify others, some actually hurt if you do them at the wrong time. That plumber, we took him from page 2 to the top 3 in 2 weeks, not because we did more work, but because we did the right work in the right order. Now, I'm going to show you exactly what we did, every change, every sequence, and why it worked. Click here to see that full breakdown.